One of the biggest questions we get asked is, what is the Immanuel Approach? So that's where I want to start, and we're going to tackle that in this episode. The Immanuel Approach is a way of growing an interactive connection with Jesus, one where true healing happens when you experience Jesus with you in the middle of your hurt. I'm Cathy Little, Executive Director and co-founder of the Immanuel Institute, and this is the Immanuel Institute podcast. Here I'm going to answer your questions about the Immanuel Institute and share how you can learn more and grow in this approach. Whether you want to strengthen your own relationship with Jesus or be equipped to help others, this is for you. If you're new here, that's fantastic. Welcome. Each episode stands on its own, so you are starting in the right place. Let's dive in. Today, I'm going to talk about what the Immanuel Approach actually is. So it's interesting to know about the Immanuel Approach is that the goal isn't necessarily for you to get healing. That might surprise you because you may think of it as a healing model, but the goal of the Immanuel Approach is building attachment and connection with Jesus. It's building that secure attachment, connecting with Him. Out of that place is where your healing is going to come from. It's the fruit of that connection, not the target. Healing is not the goal. Connection with Jesus is the goal. The other thing I want to let you know is that it's built on brain science, which means it's really safe and effective. Predictably so. If you're into science, you already know that when you start proving things, the results become predictable. And that's the way it is with the Immanuel Approach. Starting in a joyful moment, a joyful memory, building gratitude and appreciation, that's going to help your brain feel safe. And then you're able to build connection with Jesus. That's what the science is showing with gratitude and joy. And you can find that anywhere you do research. It's all over the place at this point, and people are beginning to capitalize on the fact that, hey, this actually works. So, built on brain science, it's predictably effective, it's safe and gentle, very trauma-informed. It's also not focused on healing, but healing comes as a byproduct of building a connection with Jesus in those conditions where there is safety for your nervous system and your relational brain is able to be online. You might be wondering who developed the model. It was actually a collaborative effort between Dr. Karl Lehman and Dr. Jim Wilder. Dr. Karl Lehman is a Christian psychiatrist, and then Dr. Jim Wilder is a neurotheologian, so he studies brain science, understands the trauma-informed nature of what's going on, and he also studies the Bible and is very much about the nature and character of Jesus and who God is, and those two men worked together on this model. It's an interesting thing about it is that Dr. Karl Lehman was meeting with clients using a different model, and people kept getting stuck in their trauma, which is problematic when you're trying to help people get unstuck. So he began using some of the research that he and Wilder had been doing as a way to troubleshoot. And it actually worked, which is why he began to realize, hey, there might be some value if this is going to work to get people unstuck. Why don't we start in this joyful place and build this safety net connection with Jesus right from the start and focus on it intentionally through the entire session to keep the person safe and stable in their nervous system and in their brain, and continue that all the way through the end of the session. It's going to create a safety bed for the entire session, and it's going to operate kind of like if you go to the dentist and you need to have work done, and sometimes that can be super traumatic, but if you have Novocaine, it's so much more gentle. It's so much easier for your body. So since it worked every single time, that's what kind of got him turned on to, hey, what if we built this intentionally this way to help people not get stuck? When we train at the Immanuel Institute, we're going at it with integrity to the model that was developed by Dr. Karl and by Dr. Jim Wilder. We want to maintain the consistency and integrity of what they intended and how they built it. We're not going to make our own version of it or anything like that because it actually really works. And we want to keep and maintain the integrity of what they developed. The Immanuel Approach is not traditional therapy. So there's no counseling involved. There's no advice being given. There's no prophetic words given. Our practitioners are not trained to speak for God. We're trained to help you connect and hear for yourself. That's actually more impactful anyway. And it's also not prayer ministry as you might know it. We're not praying for somebody, praying over them, giving them prophetic words or anything like that. We're integrating three things very deliberately in an Immanuel Approach session, and one of them is the neuroscience. The other one is attachment theory and building attachment, secure attachment. And then the third one is intentionally interacting and connecting with Jesus during the whole thing. So building it from the neuroscience platform, building attachment with Jesus out of that space of joy and gratitude, and then moving into that intentional interactive connection with Jesus and being intentional about it throughout the entire session. That's really the thumbnail of what the Immanuel Approach is. So when we talk about the neuroscience, it's super well established throughout the science community that joy and gratitude are going to activate the relational brain, and that helps you to be able to interact relationally with other people and with Jesus. It helps to regulate your nervous system so that you feel safe and stable. Your brain needs stability and safety in order to process these things. We're building joy and gratitude first so that the brain is able to connect. Safety is essential. That is so important. And one of the reasons I love the model so much is because it is anchored in that safe space, that secure attachment with Jesus. The second piece is the attachment theory. Healing happens best when it's inside a safe, secure connection. We're actually created that way and created for that. It's how we're wired. Our nervous system is going to look for this, wanting safety. And from that safe space, the relational brain is able to connect with Jesus and to deepen that connection with Jesus. The third piece is that intentional interactive connection with Jesus. So you know that Immanuel means God with us. Jesus is always with us. He's always happy to be with us, and he's not far away, and we don't have to beg him to show up. He's actually already here. He's going to show us in these Immanuel connections where he already is, where he already was, whether it's in the present moment or in a memory, whether a joy memory, or if something painful comes up, where he wants to show us that he was present with us and show us his attunement and compassion. We're not connecting in theory, like it's not a left-brained activity where we're just trying to behave our way into believing he's there, but we're actually helping people interact with Jesus, inviting him into whatever's happening emotionally, staying connected to him there, and then getting curious with him about whatever it is that he wants to communicate with us along the way. You might wonder if I go into an Immanuel session, what if something comes up and it's painful and I'm just not ready to deal with it? Well, it's not going to happen that way because that's not the goal. The goal is connecting with Jesus. We're never going to move into anything with curiosity that might include pain without having the connection with Jesus first. And we'll stay there as long as we need to because that connection with Jesus is the essential part. We're going to stay in that joy connection as long as it takes, even if it's over multiple sessions. We don't have an agenda as practitioners because Jesus is leading the session, which makes it so much safer and more gentle. And I, as a practitioner, don't have to have all of these boxes to tick. I can simply let Jesus lead, and I'm going to follow with curiosity and invite you into that curiosity. There's no pushing. There's no forcing. We're always going to honor a person's voice and choice. We call that agency in the trauma-informed world. We want to make sure that everybody is consenting and comfortable with whatever it is, and we're simply operating out of gentle curiosity with Jesus. Because we're anchored in neuroscience, we're actually very trauma-informed as a model as well, and that makes it even more safe because that's actually a really high priority for us at the Immanuel Institute is to make sure that the practitioners are safe and that they're actually healthy themselves. We actually incorporate some stuff into developing that, and I'll talk about that in future episodes. Basically, my role as a facilitator is to create safety and to help you stay connected with Jesus, and Jesus is going to do the rest. To give you a really quick rundown of what a session would look like or could look like, this is very simplified, but here's where we would go. First, we would start by helping you refresh a real joy memory, a gratitude moment, something that you actually experienced, and refresh that in your brain. That's going to turn your relational brain on and help your nervous system to feel safe. And then once the joy memory is fully activated, we're going to invite you to ask Jesus to show you where he is in that joy memory with you. We're going to ask him to help you perceive him with you. And we're going to start building attachment with him with some curiosity questions inside that joy memory. Asking him, what is it that he's enjoying the most about being with you? Or what's one of his favorite things about you? And things like that. When you're ready and with your consent, if you feel comfortable, we're going to invite you to get curious with Jesus about things that he might bring up in a session. Again, we don't have an agenda. We don't have a target. Sometimes we'll stay in joy memories as long as it takes. And sometimes a session will move into something that is a place where healing can happen, a place where there's some pain or unresolved trauma. And Jesus is going to bring that up, and we're just going to follow him, and you can go or not. It's totally up to you. If pain surfaces, you're with Jesus already from that safety net, and we're going to make sure you stay connected to him so you're never alone in it. Jesus is going to lead. We're going to follow. We're going to ask him to reveal himself. We're going to stay curious with him. We're going to invite you to experience his presence and his truth inside whatever it is that he brings up. That's a really quick flyover of the Immanuel Approach, and it probably sounds simple and kind of is, except that there are some troubleshooting things that can come up. It's not always simple for a client to be able to connect with Jesus like this, and so sometimes capacity needs to be built. You might wonder why we have a whole institute built around it, and I think in the episodes to come, you might hear a little bit more about the robust nature of why we train the way we do and how we train the way we do, and it might give you some better answers about why we do spend a year training students and helping them to become safe and ethical practitioners. That is it for this episode. If you want to learn more about the Immanuel Institute or our training programs, you can visit ImmanuelInstitute.com, and that's Immanuel spelled with an I. And if you're curious, there's a whole lot more coming in the other episodes, so we hope you'll stay tuned. All right, thanks for listening.